Hello viewers, and welcome back to the Creepypasta mod. Last time we reviewed the Slendy mob, and now we're going to put another piece of paper in, and see what we get. And then I will talk about the mob a little bit, and tell you the story if I know one. And I know stories for most of them, except for one of them. Maybe two of them. Jeff the Killer. Ooh. Jeff the Killer is probably one of my favorites, at least in this mob. At least in this mod, at least. At least in this mod, at least. Wow, that was repetitive. Alright, so, this is Jeff. This is the only one that actually kind of scares me whenever I spawn him. He's definitely scared me the first time I spawned him. So, if you've never seen this mod before, you might want to kind of mentally prepare yourself, because, boom! Oh, he's backwards. Turn around, Jeff. Jeff? Ah! Oh my god, Jeff. Oh my god, he's so scary. Okay, well, this is Jeff the Killer. I freaking love his story. He himself. Oh god, okay, it's a great story. I can't tell the entire thing because it's actually really, really long. And then I'll get into Jane the Killer in the next episode, which I'm really glad he came before Jane because Jane has to have him, but he can go without Jane. But alright, let's see. So, Jeff was a normal boy. It didn't specify his age in the story, but I'm guessing it's anywhere between like 12 to 15, something like that. And yeah. So he and his brother Lewis, they moved into a new neighborhood. They began going to a new school and all that stuff. And of course, there were the neighborhood bullies. The main one being Randy. It's not the same Randy from the Slenderman story. That's just the first name I could think of. The only one being Randy. Then there were two other guys, but they were mostly his backup. Randy was the worst one. He was the mean guy. Well, so they were waiting at the bus stop, and Randy approaches them with his two friends and tells them that if they want to ride the bus, they have to pay him. It's basically kind of like a bully telling you to give me your lunch money, all that. Well, Jeff had been getting this feeling lately, which I know that sounds kind of corny, but still, he was getting this feeling. It's not anger and not discomfort or anything. It was just a feeling that he couldn't explain. And whenever Randy, was bullying him, that feeling came about again, and he didn't know what to do. So Lou denied giving Randy his lunch money because they weren't pussies. They weren't no pussies. They ain't no punk. They ain't no pussy. They were not gonna give some punk kid their bus money. Jeff, you stupid son of a bitch. Okay, Jeff. Back again. Alright, well, let's see. Randy pulls out a knife, and so does his two friends. So Lou becomes a pussy. He's like, alright, I'm not gonna fight people with knives, but Jeff gets that feeling. He's overcome with that feeling, and he realizes what it is. It is that he wants to hurt someone. So when Randy comes after him with the knife, he punches him across the face, and Randy falls to the ground, and he takes the knife, and he stabs him in the arm. So, Randy's alright. But, he got stabbed, so he's not, alright. But Randy didn't die from the wound or anything. Randy's two friends come after him. Jeff stabs one in the leg or something like that, and just punches the other in the face, and he falls down. And after that, they run off because they didn't want, to get caught or anything after having stabbed 3 people. So they get home. The police arrive. They take Lou away because Lou said that he was the one that stabbed the 3 boys, not Jeff. And Jeff felt really sad because Lou was his best friend. It was his brother. And he didn't want him to go to prison because of something that he had done. So, yeah. About a year passes, and Jeff is invited to go to some little kid's birthday party. Some little kid who's probably, my guess, around 8 or 9, maybe 10. Because they were playing little kid games at the party and all. So Jeff decides to go to the party. He's still really, really upset about Lou and everything. Maybe it hasn't been a year. Maybe it's been a month. I think that's right. I think it's only been a month. But Jeff is at the party, and then he's having fun with all the little kids and stuff. He's playing their little kid games, and then Randy somehow finds out about the party and that Jeff was going to be there, and he shows up with a gun, with a freaking gun, and so do his two little friends. They have guns too. So Randy says that no one could humiliate him like that, and he threatens to shoot Jeff, and it's insane. All the little kids are screaming. That's a text message. All the adults are screaming and trying to get their kids, and then Randy's two friends says, "No one move, or we're gonna, shoot you all." And so, well, what do you do in that situation? You just don't move. So Randy puts down his gun and says that he wants to have a fair fight with Jeff, fists only, and then just see how that works out. It actually, it wasn't a very fair fight because his two friends pinned Jeff down, and then Randy punched him over and over, and then he let Jeff get up and then have the fair, quote, quote, fist fight. So Jeff instinctively tries to run inside and hide. And let's see, Randy follows him inside, grabs a bottle of vodka from a cabinet, and smashes it over Jeff's head. So Jeff is now covered in vodka and glass, and he's bleeding. And then he gets that feeling again. He gets that feeling that he has to hurt someone. Except this time, it's more than just that. He has to kill Randy. That's all he can think about. That's all he can do. He has to kill Randy. So, bloody and soaked in vodka, Jeff, with some burst of adrenaline, jumps up onto Randy, pins him to the ground, and starts punching him directly in the throat as hard as he can. He punches him over and over and over until his throat just ruptures, I guess, and he suffocates. So that's how Randy dies in a stranger's house, because Jeff punched him a bunch of times. So, let's see. Randy's two friends follow Jeff inside with the guns, and they begin shooting. So Jeff runs upstairs. I forget how the first kid dies, but I think it was just along the lines of, like, Jeff takes the empty vodka bottle and kills him with that. I'm not totally sure. But the second guy runs. He follows Jeff into the bathroom, and Jeff takes a He takes a towel rack, no, the shower rod, and they begin fighting with that. I don't know what happened to the gun at this point. I don't think the story explained that very well, because he could have just shot him. But no, Jeff hits him with the shower rod. Somewhere along these lines in the bathroom, something happens with like a bottle of bleach. All right, this story is going terribly just because I can't remember what. Something happened, and then they both got bleach all over them. I think maybe the one guy, Randy's friend, tried to fight with the bottle of bleach, and it broke and spilled everywhere, or something like that. But anyway, yes, they're both covered in bleach, and then Jeff hits the guy with the towel rod, the shower curtain. Why do I keep saying towel? I don't know. With the shower curtain, and slices his chest open. He doesn't die immediately. The guy actually starts laughing, and then Jeff says, "What's so funny?" And the guy says, "Well, you're covered in vodka and bleach." And then he takes out his lighter and throws at him. So Jeff goes up in flames. He's now burning with bleach and vodka all over him. Keep in mind that everyone is downstairs, having no idea what's going on. People are, calling the police, trying to just get out of there. So Jeff runs downstairs, totally on fire. Then his parents and the owner of the house, see him, and they try to put him out. In vain. They keep trying, and eventually the ambulance gets there, and the paramedics are able to put him out. So Jeff wakes up in the hospital. He's covered in bandages. I need to set it to nighttime again. He's covered in bandages. And then, probably 6 weeks later, I would guess, it is time for the bandages to come off. So, the doctor unwraps the bandages, and then his face looks like this. His eyes are completely singed. They're black rings around them at all times, from his eyelids burning off, and his eyebrows are gone. His lips are burnt to a thin, red, crispy line, and his face is completely bleached white from the bleach, And his mother is terrified. He said he's deformed. He's horrifying. And Jeff looks in the mirror and sees himself, and he laughs because he says that this face is perfect for him. Perfect for him now that he knows at this point that he's going to become a killer. So, a month later, his parents are sleeping, and then his mom wakes up because she hears a noise, and it is Jeff in the bathroom with a knife, carving a smile all the way across his face. His mom is terrified, obviously. She tells Jeff to stop. Jeff says, "Why? You don't think I'm beautiful, Mommy?" And so his mom says, "Of course you're beautiful." And then, well, she's panicking. She doesn't know what to do. And then, well, Jeff gets up and starts staring at her with that big creepy smile with the knife in his hand. Then he raises the knife. And so his mom is terrified. She runs back into her room and she wakes up her husband. She says, well, she doesn't say husband. She says, "Get the gun. Get the gun." And then Jeff hears it and knows that it's not safe for him anymore. So the only solution was to charge up in his parents and kill them in their bed together. Yeah. Probably not the greatest ending to a story. Actually, no. Here's a worse ending. After they found out that Randy was the one who started all the fight at the bus stop and everything, they let Lou out of prison. So Lou comes back, and he's sleeping upstairs when Jeff kills his parents. And this is where the name of the story and the famous Jeff the Killer quote comes from. He goes upstairs into Jeff's room. Jeff hears him come in. Jeff hears him come in, and he wakes up, and he looks up, and then Jeff, with his creepy face, is staring at him. And Jeff puts his hand over Lou's mouth and just says, "Go to sleep." Oh, and then he kills Lou, but I mean, that's implied. You're supposed to understand that. Like, the story ends there, but you're supposed to understand that he killed Lou. And then in part 2, whenever Jane the Killer comes in, obviously Lou is dead at that point. So, yeah, it's the story of how a normal, innocent little boy became a killer because of some douchebag named Randy. Fucking Randy. Alright, well, now that we're done with the story, we can actually get on to the mob properties. Let's see. This is how he kills you. Ow. Pretty good. Okay. Wow. Here we go. He attacks a lot, and he's very powerful. You notice the... Crap. Let me kill... Oh my god. Kill me again. He didn't say it that time. Okay. In the chat, he says, "Go to sleep" when he kills you. Because that's what he says to everyone when he kills them. Because he kills people when they wake up to see him. He says, "Go to sleep," and then he kills them. Because he's Jeff the Killer, and that's what he does. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, Jeff, go to sleep. That was a really cheesy ending to this video. I'm so sorry for that. That was awful. That was just... It was not funny, and gosh.